First thought whenever we had the opportunity at this job was, wow, this is going to be a really cool project, but there's going to be a lot that comes with it.
Pitch, height, 24 feet to the eave and 40-foot long panels.
Wow. The height has a lot to do with it, the pitch of the roof.
First thing that came into my mind when you're looking at it from ground up, you're like, wow, that's monstrous. But it takes planning, it takes the right people. Once we get that, everything is perfect.
We were selected to put the roof on. Really, one of the first things that had to happen was the steeple had to come off.
What we were tasked with was trying to resolve leaks around the steeple.
Lots of leaks in the steeple area. It was old. It needed to be replaced.
It had to be removed in order to roof in the hole that was left from the original construction. We framed that in, and then we put a roof membrane on that to set the steeple on there. We utilized a slip flashing detail after the steeple's installed that would allow us to come in and then flash in the standing seam panels through that flashing detail.
We've done some steeple work before, but this was the biggest one we've done.
As we looked inside the attic, we discovered that the insulation that was there was blown on from the inside. To remove that panel, you would have had a tremendous amount of that stuff falling down and laying all top of the ceiling panels of the grid system that was there.
So initially we had to get involved with a couple of engineers, structural engineers, to make sure that what we wanted to do for the church was going to actually be structurally sound and we'd be able to do it.
Is it okay to go ahead and put 2 roofs on this building? International Roofing Code does allow 2 roofs on a structure, but that doesn't mean it should happen.
The best way to address this would be to do a retrofit layover, where we came in and used a flue fill to fill in between the ribs and then a 4x8 sheet ISO over the top of it. Standing seam panels were roll formed on site. It gave us better control over the job to be able to order what we needed and when we needed it.
We have a machine called a roll former, and it's nice to have that, not having tried to transport a 40-foot panel.
The most challenging part of this was handling the 40-foot long panels without causing a severe twisting.
We've had quite a few windy days. 40-foot panel and wind, it's a huge fight.
So we built a 36-foot long panel pallet. It would mount to the front of a telehandler, and then we could actually lift it up and then match the pitch angle of the telehandler to the roof slope to where the panels just slid straight up parallel to the roof surface. Moving the panels around, we used a 24-foot trailer and built a 30-foot long pallet. The continuous clip by Barrage for their C-lock panel was a huge factor in the panel selection and the way that we used it. That continuous clip went from the gutter all the way to the peak of the roof. A real critical component of this application of this roof system here was getting the standing seam roof to tie into the flat roof. Joey and I decided it'd be best to go ahead and do the TPO roof and allow the perimeter hangover to exceed about 12 inches. We can actually tuck up underneath that and use it as a flashing detail, keep the roof dry.
There's actually a walkway roof in the middle between the 2 buildings. Of course, you have 2 slope roofs coming together and pretty much draining into that flat roof. Playing that TPO, we got to make sure that's installed correctly. We don't want to make no mistakes. That was pretty challenging, but we got it all together.
The outside edge of the gutter was higher than the plane of the roof. So we modified that gutter to where we actually reduced the height of it and then broadened it a little bit, so that the outside edge was pretty much flush or at the same plane as the roof pitch.
If it's a hard ice buildup, snow, that would allow the snow ice to run past the end of the gutter, and on a regular rain day would actually fall inside the gutter. Everything is pretty much a challenge on something this size.
The safety on the job was mandatory.
Some of the steps we took was make sure we were OSHA complied with everything, make sure the guys had harnesses.
We selected to use about a 20 gauge strap with a stainless steel D-ring, and we attached those to the perimeter of the low slope roof system up top. It was about 200 and some odd number anchors that had to be attached.
Made it safe for each individual person having an anchor to attach to and being separated. Allowed them to be able to work still close together, still be safe, and get the job done.
hanging off a rope. And if you're doing that all day, by the end of the day, you get leg fatigue. Soft ladder is basic as a polyester web type material, much like you would see used in ratchet straps. And we used a 6-inch wide material to where we could put some steps in it. You could use it as a footing, not as fall protection, but just as a footing assist to help to reduce some of the leg fatigue.
It is an assistant for being on a roof this steep. I used it a good few times myself. I found it very, very helpful.
The team aspect of this job was really important. We had multiple crews working.
It was one big team, about 14 to 18 people, but we broke down in multiple or many teams.
We had material preparation. You had the guys up on the roof, ground safety, gutter crew. So right there you got 4 different sections going on all at one time.
We have to work with 2 trades, so we all had to coordinate together. And also with this project, every morning we have a toolbox talk with these 2 crews. We have an hour talk about safety and making sure everything is straightened out with them, testing out the equipment as well.
But everything still overall, with all the men, came along pretty smooth. Communication is a big key.
This type of project from start to finish really is a team effort with everyone in our office.